What's going on, creators? Yeah, just want to get on here and bring everybody back to now. Appreciate y'all being here and vibing with me for a bit. Yeah, today I'd like to continue the conversation on mental diets. Hopefully, add something positive to your mental diet for today. I don't know, it might kind of maybe sound intense, kind of the flow of what's going to be talked about today, because it has to do with our Thanksgiving turkey, and raising it, this entire experience, this whole process. So if you're kind of maybe um, triggered by stuff like that, this might not be the the stream for you. But like, yeah, for those that have been kind of following this progression, it was really intense, a lot more intense than I thought it would be, and so I just wanted to share that with you guys. I know there's some people that are trying to get out of the whole kind of beast system and trying to explore farming and that whole thing. And so as somebody who's now kind of done it, kind of share some things that I've learned from it. A lot of intense emotions and like just feelings in general, things about death and life and all this kind of stuff. It's really eye-opening, and it really was like kind of a blessing, for me to kind of appreciate meat more, as like somebody who's grown up in a town, who's going to the grocery stores, not really been exposed to much like farming. It's just you want to get something, you just go to the store, it's already prepackaged, and it's easy to disconnect from the fact that that was a living creature. It was something that was alive and everything. And you're going through this whole experience, is like kind of enlightened me on like I don't know, having more of a respectful energy, maybe is a way to put it. It's just, it's like this was a living thing, and so with the turkey, it's like I raised him, from time he was like a baby, from just getting him from like a farm. I don't know where my wife actually got it from, but like she brought it home with some of the other chickens. I think it was like a farm store or something, and it was just weeks old, I guess. It was small. I mean, it was like size of a dollar bill or something, and yeah, and having it upstairs in like a little bathtub, or not bathtub, but like a little swimming pool thing for like toddlers or whatever, just to kind of get it acclimated and everything while we built the chicken coop and whatnot. To by the time it was like said and done, we weighed it after the processing, all that kind of stuff. It was 40-pound turkey. It was crazy. It's like we're like, the new challenge is like, how are we going to cook this thing? It's like our turkey whatever roasting pan or whatever is too small to fit it, and so we got aluminum foil one, which I don't know how we're going to, it's getting it in there is one thing. It's like taking it out of the oven, on aluminum foil. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but we'll tackle each thing as it happens, but like kind of the flow of this whole thing is like, I in the back of my mind this whole time with this turkey, knowing that we're gonna eat it eventually, but on some level, like kind of putting that in the back burner, and then it was this weekend, I start, getting things around, and it's like getting these jobs kind of situated for like this week, which I'm going to take most of the week off for Thanksgiving, so we can kind of get the house ready, get a bunch of whatnot going, and like it was like Saturday or something, and I started like doing the math. I'm like, oh shit, it's getting really close to Thanksgiving, and I start looking into it, and it's like, when's the time to like actually kill the turkey and like process it and everything. It's like 3 to 4 days, and I'm like, shit, I mean, that's like tomorrow, and it's like, it kind of just like dawned on me that it's like, oh shit, things are about to get real, and like that next day, it's like, fuck, it's like, I need to figure out a game plan here. It's like, I'm gonna have to do it on Monday, because I just was not in the mood to do it on Sunday. Because it's not just like killing the turkey. It's like my mom has like meat birds. So it's like, having experienced that. With chickens, it's one thing to but it's like a whole ordeal. I mean, it's one thing to kill them, but then it's like, then you have to dunk them in water, and then like hot water to get the feathers off easier, and then you have to gut it and all this kind of stuff, and so it's like really involved, and so I didn't have a big enough like pot to boil the water. So it's like, man, I'm gonna have to buy that. I'm gonna have to buy like a hatchet, or like trying to, spent most of Sunday just in my mind, just like, oh, am I gonna buy a hatchet? This turkey is huge, and powerful. It's like strong, and like not like I'm intimidated, not like intimidated by it or anything, but like but kind of respecting that, it's not going to be as simple as just do and done. It's going to be a kind of a process, and then it's like, okay, well, I need to buy a pot of water. It's like, I was thinking about buying some like 2x4s to make like a killing funnel, like we had with the chickens, where you throw them in there and their head pops out the bottom, and then you can just like so or whatever. And that's like, man, that's gonna be like, I already got some screws. It's like, how many 2x4s am I? So I started adding up. It's like man, I'm looking at like $100-something here for this turkey, and this, like, not to mention most of the, it's like going to be a couple hours of time invested in it. Plus, at this point, I'm starting to have like weird feelings of I don't like love for the turkey, and kind of what happened with that is I started to the chickens were like pecking at its ass and like its back feathers and everything, because it just most of the time would just like a peacock almost, and just strut around with its back feathers out and just fluff itself up and just like kind of just posture like that, for most of the day. It would just do that, and like and the birds like started pecking at it, and it's like yeah, and I would like kick at the chickens, or like throw a stick at the chickens, or I was like spraying them with the hose when they were like pecking at the turkey and all. It was like another ordeal. But then what happened was, like, on that like Saturday, or Sunday, I think it was Saturday though, because he was like still eating and stuff, and like yeah, the chickens were messing with it, and it came behind me like I'm like its protector, which really put me in a fucked up, as simple as that is, it's like it put me in a really fucked up state of mind, because it's like, man, this thing fucking trusts me, and it's like looking at me to like protect it, and meanwhile I got like really like a predatory situation going on, where it's like literally the definition of being predatory, and so it kind of put me in this weird state of mind, so I don't even know if it was like, one of these things going on. It's just like fear. It's just more just like reflecting about it, and it's like trying to come to peace with it and everything. And so, I end up going to like church on Sunday, and like, I've been playing guitar with like the band at church, and so it's like we're doing that. So I was like, man, in my mind, it's like, how am I going to do this, and how am I going to do this like without spending like $100? It's just like, maybe I can try to find somebody who would do it for me, and especially since it looks at me like it's protector, and there's like all of these like mental stories and mental shit going on, about it. And it's like, well, if I can't find any, because this, like, I got to do it on Monday, so it's like either I find somebody that will do it for me, or I'm going to do it, either one. I have to make peace with whatever it is. And so, like, yeah, and so I started just asking like people at church. It's like, hey, do you know anybody that does this, that can just, already have it set up to kind of make this happen? And they're like, no, it's, who knows? And a couple leads, and it's like, Monday, Sunday night, I was just like, I wouldn't say a wreck, but it was just like a lot more intense than I thought, of just like thinking about, killing the turkey, and like what I got to do, and like, yeah, what was, getting ready to go down. It's like 24 hours before like doing that. It's good not to feed them, because then it's less stuff when you're gutting them to deal with, and so it's like, and like the whole time, once like, it kicked in, it's like, man, he's got a death date, it's like, I kept looking at the turkey, and really, we all have that. It's like, if that turkey only knew this would be his last meal, would he do it differently? If he knew that this was his last day with the chickens, would he do something different? And I end up like putting the chickens in the coop and letting him like just have outside time by himself, and just try to, I don't know, try to just give him some I don't know, and I'm projecting a whole lot of my own drama onto the turkey and everything, but like, yeah, and so that all happened, and yeah, that night, it's just like, oh, for fuck's sake, it's like, I was like on some level hoping like maybe like someone would like like break into the coop and just take him. It's just because I just didn't want to do it. And then at the same time I got all these like things that was like going on mentally. And then like Monday when I woke up, I didn't get very good sleep, but Monday when I woke up, a lot of that stuff I was like processing the night before, and it's just, like I was like really confident that either I could do it or not. I mean, that was no other choice. I mean, it had to happen, and so it was like start calling around, and in my mind I'm like thinking asking God, is just like, okay, the turkey's still out there, I kind of did that before, the night before. It's like, if you want the turkey to live, just let someone steal it. I got no problem buying a $30 turkey or whatever from the store. But it's like this kind of weird energy about it, and this is like wake up the next morning, it's like still there. It's like, all right, and so out of the blue, my mom like texted me, and she's like gave me a lead on a place to call. Was a place she had taken her chickens to before, like doing it herself. Yeah, and they are really reasonable, and it's like I called them in the morning, and they're like, yeah, you just got one turkey, we can swing it in at 2 o'clock, and yeah, $11 to do. It's like $11. I mean, in my head it's just like, I'll just go right now, and so yeah, but earlier, after that in the morning, my dog just spilled the water bowl, but like met with my mom in the morning to get a carrier to get the turkey into the car and take it in, because it's like, part of it for me, is like why I wanted to do that, and, instead of just me doing it, is because like people, like, I felt like that a professional would just do it so fast and just like, and it's just done. And they told me it'd only be 15 minutes, like from the time I bring it in to the time it's in a bag ready to rock and roll, and like, yeah, and I was just thinking, man, they got all the equipment to do it, and like probably really sharp knives, and the turkey won't even see it coming, which is, ideally how I'd like to go out, is just, just living my life, and, boom, just what's going on, yeah, and so, yeah, it ended up progressing, throughout the day. It was like, okay, well, it's time to get the turkey in here. I had some like handyman jobs. I was getting my guy going on that, and then they ended up calling me later on. They called me and said if I could get in there earlier, because they had like somebody cancel and whatnot. It's like, well, I'll let you know, because I had to have appointments and stuff. I don't know if I can. So I left him a voicemail saying, hey, I can only get out there like 15 minutes earlier than 2. It's as good as I can do. But like in that process, I get this cage from my mom. I just get all this shit going in the morning, and like end up getting the cage. And the cage was, is like a dog carrier cage, but I mean, it was kind of small, so it's like I'm looking at the cage and I'm looking at the turkey. It's like, fuck, how am I gonna get that turkey in there, and so I used deception to get the turkey in there. Honestly, I tried to just shove it in there when I first got in there, and it was not having it. It knew something was up, when I got the cage in there, and it wasn't having it. And so what I ended up doing, because I knew it hadn't ate, I ended up, basically putting the cage on the ground. The chickens started to go in the cage, and then I took a little bit of food and I put it in there, because I knew the turkey would see the food and just fall for it, and so it did. It started. It was too big to naturally want to go in the cage. It just kept running its chest into the cage to try to knock it out of the way so it get the food, and I eventually just grabbed it. And this is like probably as intense as like my part in this thing was. I had to take it and shove it into the cage, and I did that pretty peacefully. It was a lot more peacefully than my worst case scenarios were. But it was it was peacefully, but it was also like, you're not getting out of this, type thing either. So it's like, either you go in there or I'm going to just fucking throw you in here, type thing. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to hurt it. I just wanted it to get in there and, have this whole experience be peaceful, for it, I guess, as peaceful as it can be, And so what happened then, get it in there, and then, once I got it in the cage, it was like, all of this, mental activity I had the night before, like, how am I gonna, pick it up? Because it's probably like 80 pounds, with all of its stuff. I mean, once it's processed and everything, it loses a bunch of feather weight and innard weight and everything. So I don't know what they say, it gets added to it, but, maybe 10 pounds, 20 pounds of just extra bulk on 40. So like a 60-pound bird, maybe more. I don't know. He was heavy. I mean, I'm pretty strong, and I wouldn't say it was super difficult to pick up the cage and put it in the car, but I mean, it had weight to it. I mean, it was solid, but like, yeah, once I had it in there, and then, it had like a square, like, thing at the top of the cage. It was like probably like that big. Oh, he's signaling, but like, after that, then the turkey stuck its whole head out of there, so it was just above the cage. And I started thinking to myself, it's like, oh, um, I could have easily just then, like, done like that and then flipped the cage upside down, because we have two raised beds, that are just built with like 2x4s and stuff, so it's like sturdy. I could put the cage on it, slit its throat, flip the cage over, and then it would just. And I realized that after all that happened, so it was just like, oh, I could have easily done it, but for $11, I was nervous. I'd like hesitate, because I just didn't want to hesitate. I just wanted to done, and I was nervous that I wouldn't be able to do that without being like hesitant about it, or just whatever, and plus it looked at me like for protection and stuff, and it just felt like a betrayal. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it's like an ultimate betrayal. I don't know. But like, so I get it in the car, and the whole time, I was just thinking, it's like, it has no idea, how much time it's got left. And and that was what was kind of fucking with me, because it's like, man, I don't know how much. I could get in a car accident on the way up there, and the turkey could live, and I could die. It's like, I don't know. Wouldn't that be ironic? I kept thinking about that the whole time. Like, wouldn't that be ironic? But once we got going, it was like an hour to drive to this place. So there was like some gas, and there's time involved, but it's probably less time than I would have taken to process it and everything. So get it there, but on the way there, I get a phone call from these people, and they're like, hey, our butcher is getting ready to leave, because they had that order cancel. It's like, when's the soonest you can be here? I was like, I called you guys, left you a message, as I told you, I'm on the way now, but I can't. 15 minutes early, 1:45, is about as early. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking haul ass out there, get a ticket or anything, and then they started trying to negotiate with me about, could you drop it off today? You can get a bird that we killed this morning, and then you come back tomorrow and get your bird, so you have two turkeys. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that. And then the other option was just switch them out, but I knew my wife wasn't going to have that either. It's just like, no, we've been buying this all natural shit and just trying to, do this whole thing, and it's like, no way. And it's like, I've already mentally, I've spent most of Sunday mentally preparing myself, just really getting into this fucking kind of state of mind. It was a bitch to get the turkey in the fucking cage. It's like, no, this is happening today. With this turkey, I'm done. And then they kept coming back and forth with me about this. And it's like, I told him, I was like, how much does it? It's like, I have a business. It's like, what, you don't want to pay these two guys for the extra hour because they want to clean up and go on 2 o'clock on a Monday. How much is it going to cost? I got $20, $40, keep them there. I don't give a fuck. As I was thinking about spending $100 on this thing. I just want it to happen. And as soon as I like borderline, bribed them or whatever, they're like, okay, well, just don't. Since you're coming, just don't even worry about it. It's like, okay, thank you. And so ended up, getting there, and yeah, it was just like the whole drive there is an hour drive. It was real kind of like somber. I wouldn't say, I don't know. I was hoping the turkey, it popped its head out of the top of the cage and was looking around, and was, seeing all these different things. He wasn't struggling, and turkeys have like almost like a mood to them where you could tell like by the color of their face, because it changes colors like an octopus. It's like it'd be like red one minute and it'd be white another. It could be freaking purple. It's like turkeys are a strange animal. It's like I've never been around a actual turkey, like a living turkey. and I had no idea what they're like, and having now this like flock of birds. I got 9 chickens, 2 ducks, and then no more turkey. But like, yeah, but like you can see from just being around them, there is a consciousness to them, and a personality on some level. A lot of their behavior is like pretty, almost like script like, which is not much different, than a lot of people as far as I'm concerned. And especially right now, where so many people are just, not using their minds and repeating scripts and just going along with nonsense that doesn't make any sense. But like, you know, you start to, and that was another thing I was like thinking about is like, is it what we call evil? Would a lion be evil to like a deer? It's like, is this evil? What I'm doing to this turkey? And it's like it is a very spiritual thing and everything else. And it's like on the way out there, the whole time I was just like looking at the clock and it's like, man, this turkey has no idea. In 1 hour it's gonna be dead. 45 minutes is going to be dead, 30 minutes dead. It's like, you don't know. But it's like the whole time I was trying to stay present, even though I was doing this time countdown because I was driving there and I was like, just knew the inevitable was coming, and like, yeah. And at the same time, I felt kind of like, uh, yeah, just like, I wouldn't say happy, but just like relieved that, it's, I don't know. I just say like professional butchers, they're just like, I know that they wanted to go home and shit, so it's like they're just gonna fucking fly through this, And I was like thankful for that, that they would just be really fast about it and just be quick and just matter of fact, where I was like gonna project a bunch of drama and probably cry, when it came to killing it, because it was intense, like this last 15 minutes is like I was tempted to pull over and just let it free, and just go buy a turkey, but like I knew that that wasn't a real thing to do, but like yeah, and once I got it there, I said goodbye to it, and yeah, we took it into the butchering area and whatnot. I wasn't allowed to go in there, which was fine. The whole time I was just like sitting in my car, just, and I was like, I could almost, there's like a feeling of relief after like 5 minutes or so, and it's just like it's done. I just could tell it's done and over with. And there's this like calm, like peace or whatever. That it's hard to explain, but like yeah, and then a couple minutes later, the whole thing, it took 15 minutes from the time I got there to the time I paid and left. But like yeah, and then once it actually happened, I mean, the turkey is in our refrigerator right now. I mean, so it's, but there's not this weird kind of like personalization. I don't even know if that clicking that, it's not this, because I'm used to seeing like carcasses of like turkeys for Thanksgiving, so it's not like this weird. It becomes weird when it's like I remember that as like, being outside. It's like this kind of a weird thing going on. But like as far as like now that it's all said and done, and it's like, man, I got a 40-pound fucking turkey. That's crazy. I've never seen a turkey that big. It's like for Thanksgiving, and having gone through that entire experience, it's like I'll probably continue to just use them as like to butcher and process these birds and whatnot, just because it was so fast, and I felt like it was a good value. And it's like having done that, it's like it becomes like, do you really want to? I mean, it's like last time we did that with all like my mom's birds, it's just like it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of like you know energy, and it's kind of fucked up, and it's kind of weird. And it's like it's one thing if society was breaking down completely, and it's like you had to do it, or you'd starve to death. That's one thing. But it's another one, it's just like, man, it's like $2 to go take it to these people, and it's just like that quick. It's nuts. So it's like almost like a no-brainer, as long as like society exists on some level, and that can happen. Yeah, sure, why not? And that's my point of view about it. I think others might be more, I don't know, had totally opposite opinion. Thinking that, oh, you raise it, you should be the one that kills it. You know, to each his own, I guess. That was just why I didn't. Just because I just thought, for one, it was just me. It was a big chicken or big turkey, but like I said, once I got it in the cage, then I realized, oh, I could have just done it. It wasn't that. It wouldn't be that hard to because I was thinking I'd have to pick it up, tie its feet together, by myself, and then pick this fucking huge bird up and throw it in like a funnel, or like tie it up, and get like a string and pull its neck and stake it to the ground and put its head on a block and cut it off with a hatchet, or all of that would have been an ordeal, but like yeah, for me it was just like I spent my entire life like having pets, and so it's like easy for me to start to connect emotionally even, and I think that was another end of it. It's like I was actively trying not to be attached to it, which made me more attached to it. It's like resisting that made me just fall in love with the turkey. But like yeah, I just figure I get to share that kind of experience with people, because it was a lot more intense than I thought. Thankful that it's over with, thankful that it's in the fridge. Thanksgiving's going on. This is the first year doing that shit ever. And it's like feel like it was accomplished, done. And then the other end of it too is like when you process birds and stuff, you got to make sure not to like nick their intestines and and like ruin the meat by just getting into the organs by not knowing what you're doing. And that was another part of it because it was so big, and they got glands and like shit, and it's just like I just want somebody who knows what they're doing then too, just to make sure, because we're feeding a whole bunch of people for Thanksgiving, and I want it not to be spoiled and get people food poisoning or anything. That was it, another part of it. And plus the feather, taking the feathers off was a big part of it then too, because my mom's got a chicken plucker, but this bird was too big to go in it, and so not only would it be like dunking it in a new thing of hot water, taking it out, but then I'd have to rip all the feathers out of it too, and so it's just like, it's one, once it gets to that point, I mean, once the life is out of it, it's I don't know. It was like when we were doing that with the chickens, it was like we just throw them in the chicken plucker, and my job during that was to gut them, and it was like, once they're already, the life is out of them, it's different to kind of take that next level with things, but like I just didn't want, that was like so much to me, that was like, man, that would be so much fucking work, get all those feathers out and everything else. And for $11, it's like, man, it's like a miracle for me. Yeah, and I feel like it kind of synchronistically came together because, like, I didn't know, what was going to happen. But as soon as my mom sent me that text, it's like, there it is. I'm going to follow this freaking synchronicity because, yeah, I mean, it just, and like I said, it all came together. And even though there was like a little bit of resistance, heading out there when it came to them trying to reschedule for the next day, it's like it still worked out. I paid them only 11. I tried to, I broke a 20. I was like, well, here's, you can have the rest. I was gonna give them 40, but they wouldn't even take the change out of the 20. It's just like $11. I'm not gonna take any tip or anything. It's like, okay, well, whatever, and so that's good enough for me. And so, yeah, it is what it is. And so, yeah, well, I do it again, probably, especially now that a lot of the unknowns have been figured out, like, how you can process it. And it's like, okay, well, just take it to these guys and, take it to that business, support them. And, at the same time, kind of take that end of things out for myself, and this is like, I was trying to tell, like, my wife, it was like one thing to do, to be part of that whole process with like other people's stuff. It's different though, seeing it every day, because I grew attached to the turkey. Every time I'd open the chicken coop doors, in the morning to feed it'd make this weird sound. It was like, it reminded me of like a cat. It was like, not like a purring sound, but it was just like a cooing sound or something, and so, yeah, it just had this weird personality that, I mean, most of that is just me projecting shit onto it. It's like, it bit me one time, trying to get at a thing of food, for no reason, so it's like, not to put too much personality, but, definitely, have a new respect for eating meat and what's involved in that, and like making peace with it, the fact that this was an animal at one point that had living, breathing thing, all part of God's creation on some level. So not to sit there and just like shame and guilt anything about this process, but to look at it through a little bit more respect. uh, yeah, like respect. I think respect's probably the best word, to buying meats, making more of that mental connection that this was a actual being, this was a creature, one of God's creations, and moving forward. I don't, having experienced it, I think of like people had to kind of do that for their own selves. I think a lot of people wouldn't eat meat, probably would get attached to like the animals. And I felt that way too. I went to a dairy farm one time on a field trip with my stepdaughter. And like petting the cows, and the little cows are like suck on your finger and stuff. And cows are big. People. I don't know if like people in cities really grasp the scale of some of these animals, like pigs. I think a lot of people think of the pig being like a little, like a potbelly pig, like something like that. Yeah, I mean, these things are like 1,000 pound. I mean, they're gigantic. And if you have like a big fucking pig pen, I mean, it sounds like velociraptors. The way they root around and they fucking scream and they just bang into shit super hard. I mean, it's intense. Yeah, they're fucking gigantic. And like cows too. I mean, they're fucking huge. Yeah, I mean, like until you go to a farm or something, because I don't know if people have it's like, oh, it's a little bit bigger than a dog or something, like a cow. It's just like, fuck no. I mean, these things are big, and yeah, some of the ones that you'll see around here. I mean, like if you're maybe 5'6", whatever, 5.5 feet. I mean, you're coming up to not even like their ass. I mean, they might, I don't say they're 6 foot tall, I mean, but they're fucking big. Yeah, and if, yeah, it's just different, I guess, and so, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, for anybody that's, thinking about pursuing something like that, or just interested in this drama, this saga with the turkey and Thanksgiving and everything. The deed's been done, and like I said, it's in the refrigerator now, and, yeah, it was quite the intense experience, and, yeah, moving forward, probably do it again. I feel really confident that I had a good life, and so yeah, that was what was also important to me. Is yeah, it wasn't like super farmed, and it's like stepping on some of the stuff that you see, and not to sit there and like talk shit about places like that either, but like I wanted to do something more natural, and I wouldn't say natural, but just like like I said, just have it's one thing to eat it. It's another thing to torture it its entire life. I wanted it to have a good life. Yeah, and not suffer, and yeah, move on to the next adventure. So, yeah, with that being said, thing went about. So, thanks everybody for listening, and have a, I appreciate you guys liking, sharing, subscribing, and all the social networking things. I also appreciate your spiritual support and your financial support. Thank you for that. And until the next now, God bless.